I want to do is just start a little bit of groundwork with this horse. A lot of people want to do some groundwork with their horses and they've got no idea where they want to start off or how they're going to go about it. We just got this fella in, we've got to do some mouthing work on him, but like every horse we like to put them through a groundwork program as well while they're here, because that's an integral part of everything we do. But a lot of people don't have a round yard. I have one, but I'm not going to use it for this horse, just to show people how to get kicked off. I use a good fitting holder, as you can see, that sits down under his chin, sits just on or above the bump on his nose there. It's not going to get in his mouth. Nice heavy 13-foot lead rope. These holders and lead ropes, you can buy those on our website. I find a lot of the commercial ones are either poorly fitting or made out of stretchy rope. The lead rope's got no feel to them, so if you're interested in good gear, we have a little bit of that available. I like to use a flag. A flag gives me a lot of presence. I can make myself big very easily. If I did that without the flag, he'd probably just stand there and let me walk into him. You know, he's got a little bit of respect, but he's not, you know, I can do this. He's not really interested in, you know, what I got to say. He'll let me back into him, but I can do it this way and get quite a nice little bit of backing up happening there. So a flag for me, you could use a stick with a plastic bag on it. With a worried horse or a horse that's a little bit sensitive, you know, don't use too much on the end here or anything on a really sensitive one if you're not sure how to handle things or you're not good at creating pressure and taking it away, or your timing's out. You might want to tone it down a little bit. With this guy, I'm pretty sure that the flag is not going to worry him a great deal, so we'll get started. The first thing I like to get on a horse was two things. If I've got a horse that is a little bit, has a tendency to drop his shoulder in towards me when I come round here and not yield his hind end. This guy's yielding pretty good. I'll wait till he steps forward a little bit and just step him away, step him away, step him away. There, right there is pretty nice. If I can get that first, that's really good. If he was a little bit spoiled and he was following me with that shoulder, I would probably stand on the side I want to go to and reach out and ask him to step his shoulder over first. Shoulder over first. I want a good big step over. I'll follow him. When he gives it to me, I'm going to quit. The way this horse will know when he's done the right thing is when I take the pressure away. So if I ask him to step his front end over, I'll get big. He's not doing it. I'll make more pressure. He steps away, I'll let him go. I'll try again. I'm going to pick up, lead him out. I'm going to stop when I get something like what I want. I don't expect perfection straight off the bat. Okay, I'm going to pick him up, lead him out this way, ask him to step his shoulder over this way. Good. Now don't want to chase him and just have him run round and round. One, I'll probably get pulled around a little. Two, that's not what this is all about for a start. I want him to learn how to respond. See, he walked his shoulder towards me then. That was him testing me to see if I would be assertive. I want him to step his shoulder over. He's stepping his whole side, but anyway, as long as he moves over, I'm fine with that. When you start a horse going around you, it's really nice if you can get him to walk out there first and then start going around. Now you can see there, he's just leaning on that rope. He doesn't know a great deal. So I'm going to slow it down. I don't want to create a situation where I'm being pulled around if I can help it. I'm going to reach out, ask him to step over. Good. I'm going to reach out. Oh, that was pretty nice. He went off my eyes then, you know, and how I was holding myself. So, you know, I'll look away or relax. I'm really going to let him know when he's done the right thing, and the way you let a horse know is just by taking away that pressure and relaxing yourself. Okay, ask him to step over. More, come on, you try for me. There we go. Do it again. Yeah, that was pretty nice. I want to stop him. I'm going to reach down this rope. And he thinks that I'm going to chase him. I'm going to reach down this rope, pick it up. I don't want him to react like that, so we'll do it a few times till he works out that the last thing on my mind is whacking him. You know, the reason he's getting like that with his back leg is he's getting all stiff and tense. There we go. He can step it through quite nicely when he's not resisting with his legs. Ask him to move his shoulder across. You know, that was a little rushed. I'll bump his nose. If he leans on this, I'm going to bump his nose. If I just pull, he'll learn that he can lean on it. You know, but if I don't give him anything to lean on and I just bump his nose a little with it, he'll learn that, you know, tearing that out there and trying to take it away from me gets him bumped, you know, and I'm not just holding and giving him something to lean on. So short term, you know, that might seem a little hard. I mean, a little bump's not really hurting him, but long term, he won't lean on it, so he gets a better deal. You know, he jumped across there. I don't want him to spook away from me. I'm not trying to chase him or slow him down. I just pick that hand up, let his hind end roll around. Okay, shorten up, ask again. When you start out, that's pretty cool. When you start out, if you need control, keep the lead rope shorter than your arm. If you keep that lead rope shorter than your arm, you can give him some assistance. But if you have one of those horses that ignores you, and you do that, and you've got nothing, and he decides to rush through here, he can kick you as he goes past. You know, this horse is not going to do that, but just a word of warning, and if you're having trouble, shorten up. Always shorten up if you're having trouble. Ask him, step across. You know, having them out in the end of the lead rope and working really softly is an end result. It's not a place to start. A clever horseman can probably work them a little further out, but if you're having trouble, shorten up. I'm going to bump his nose. Every time he looks out there, I'm going to bump his nose. If he looks out, I'm going to bump his nose. If he looks out, I'm going to bump his nose. There we go. He's starting to chew away there. He understands. That's pretty nice right there. I'm going to pick him up. You know, this is not about miles or sweat. Roll his hind end away. I might ask him to come out there. If he's ignoring me, remember what I said about shortening up? I'll make my presence a little bigger. And I'll take it away when he goes. I'm going to pick him up. Ask him to move his shoulders across and go around me. Now I'm not driving him from behind. See what happens when I do that? What I'm doing is focusing on the area on his body where my leg would be if I was riding, on his rib cage. I want him to get soft and get around me a little bit. So I'm going to drive him from there. And you see, it doesn't take much. You know, I'll put that flag up there. You know, we haven't done a lot of desensitisation with this guy at this stage because we want to be able to work with him first. I'll step him across. I can tangle him the lead right there. I tend to just let it all fall on the ground. Okay. Ask him to come across. Good. Lift up. When I lift my hand, I want that hind end to go away. So I can block him from bringing his shoulder at me. Get him to step his hind end through, and again, I'll bring him around here where you can see. Again, that's where I'm driving him from. You know, it's no good me whacking his bum to get it around. Now I want him to go around from my leg. You know, I want him to yield from something there on his rib cage later on. And I want him to learn that he can just bend around. Now if I lift my hand, I want him to step around, step around, step around. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Good. So I'll get him yielding his hind end, yielding his front end. Probably the next thing that I want to work on is, and sometimes you might want to do this sooner if you've got a horse that crowds you a little bit, backing up. okay? I don't want to just chase him backwards with the flag, you know. You see some people do this and some of them do this sort of thing. Well, if you want to wreck your horses tying up and you got them backing up off a waggle on a rope, sort of if something worries them while they're tied up, you might find that they cue themselves to back up and then panic when they find they're tied up, you know. So I don't personally like it a lot. And I want him to go off the holder and off the cue, you know. You can see he's pushy with his head there a little bit. So what I'm gonna do, I'm not gonna do this. So when I say rock his head, you see a lot of people doing this, just twisting that holder back and forth on his head. I'm gonna take hold of it really close. I'm gonna rock his head from side to side, and when he stops, or when he sort of backs up a little, I'm gonna let him go. I want him to get soft with his head and neck. I'm just going to rock him. I'm not even asking him to go backwards here. I'm just rocking his head and neck. I'll let him work it out for himself. But what I want him to do is to find a way of getting me to release that pressure on him. I'll turn him round here. Come on, good boy. I'm going to rock his head. Every time I get something nice, you'll notice I'll walk him up again. I'm going to keep rocking on him, and he's just pushing into that. I want him to soften his head and neck as well as step backwards. So, you know, I got my steps backwards, but now I want that. He broke the pole a little. That was the tiniest try. I hope everyone saw that. I'm going to quit on him. Pick him up again here, rock his head. See, he's pushing his nose into that. That's not a backup, you know. His feet are moving backwards. I want my horse to back up nicely and rock his head backwards, forwards, backwards, well, side to side. And I'm going to keep rocking. If I need to, I might use the flag, you know. If he really pushes forward, I might do something like this. I'll wait. And I'm going to wait, and I'm just going to keep rocking, keep rocking, keep rocking. There, he softened his head and neck. That's the sort of thing I'm after. Now, if I'm going to remount this horse, we want him to learn how to soften his head and neck so that we can do that again with the bit in his mouth. Teach him to soften up a little bit. So, but if I can get it like this first, that makes that process just that much easier. Rock, 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 rock. See him just pushing into that, fighting with it. I want him to find out. If I quit there, I've taught him to do that. So I want him to find out how to get rid of me doing this. Give him a little control over the situation. Just watch yourself there. I haven't quit on him. Just watch yourself. And you can see he's popping his shoulder out, and ignoring it and trying all sorts of things other than soften his head and neck and back up. There, I got one. One step after all that. But you watch what happens when he works this out. He'll quit all that fighting. We're going to make that redundant. He nearly did it, and then you pushed your nose out. We're going to make all that redundant. There. And you notice I only had hold of him with 2 fingers that time. He's starting to get the idea. We go again. I don't want to force him to do it, because when I ride, I don't want to be in a fight with him. I want to pick my reins up. Come on, you can do better than that. There we go. That wasn't too bad. Over a period of a few days, don't expect perfection straight up. If your timing's not perfect, or you're having a little trouble, just work at it over a few days. Yeah, that was a bit nicer. And see, he's not pushing into that holder anymore. He's not trying to beat me that way. He's found another thing that works for him. There, he pushed into it. I'm not going to let that work. There, I'll let that work. Eventually I want him to pick up at the wither. He's a 6-year-old, this boy, so he's going to be able to work pretty nicely when we get him going, because he's a nice strong horse. Ask him to step across, lead him forward, put some pressure on his side and say, hey, you go. I don't want to chase him. One of the worst things I think you can do, I can stop him there. One of the worst things I think you can do is you can ask your horse to step his shoulders across and then try and whack him forward or get after him forward. They don't want to expose their side to you. They don't want to do that if you're going to get after them. So, you know, we need to be a little gentler than that and step him across. Look at his side, lead him out. That's pretty cool. I don't want him dragging on that rope, pulling on me. I want it to be his responsibility to go around. So if he were to slow down, I'd do something about it then. But if he moves around without any input from me, I'm very happy with that. He's just starting to think, well, maybe I don't have to go so hard there. I'm going to let him, and I'm going to lead him out, and use this flag and say, hey buddy, it's your responsibility to keep going. But if I don't let him make the mistake of slowing down, if I nag him to go all the time rather than let him make a mistake of slowing down, he's gonna, if I nag him, he's just gonna get dead, you know, and I'll be at him all the time. There's nothing worse than riding a horse and you've got to kick to keep him going. That's pretty nice, good. He's got a bit of a stop on him, like just a wall. I want him to learn to do some things like change direction on the go. You know, he's got a little issue where he doesn't want to do something, he'll just pull. Okay, I just bumped his nose because I'm not going to let him run past me there. Okay, we'll stop him, let it all settle down. I'm going to ask him to go that way again. Good. What I want to do here is get him doing a little exercise where he changes directions without slowing down. Bump his nose when he looks out. So I'm going to step back and I'm going to watch this area here. I'm going to own this area and I'm going to let him follow that lead rope around here. I always used to sort of look at my horse and try and chase him over when I did that, but I found over a period of time that if I just own this area here and let him work out where he wants to go. So I just give him the idea with the lead rope, and this is sort of like steering. You know, I'm going to step back and give him room, own this area here. And you can see why having a horse a little respectful first is a good thing. Respectful, you know, aware of your space. I guess not I'm scared of you respectful, but that's not really, that's just fear, not respect. You know, but respect in relation to I am aware of your space and I'm not going to take advantage of that. You know, help him understand that. Okay, and step back. I want him to keep moving. I don't want him to see a change of direction or anything else as a reason to stop. We can do that later, but you know, when I want to get him on his back legs a little bit, I want him to follow that lead rope, keep going. Good. I want him to follow that lead rope, keep going, and make some noise. Good. I want him to follow that lead rope, I'm going to make some noise. I want him to follow that lead rope until I eventually get a nice smooth change of direction. A nice smooth, keep going, make some noise, get the energy up, keep going, get that change of direction. This is a really good exercise to help a young horse that's leading also. You know, they got to follow that rope. They got to give you a reason, or you've got to give them a reason to learn to give to that pressure. And you could run around the arena, but that was a nice one. I'm going to stop him, pick him up. Good. That was a nice one. I'll use standing still as a reward a lot. You want to teach a horse to stand still, instead of trying to make him stand still, use it as a reward. It's really easy to get a horse to stand still when it thinks it's getting a reward for something. And I say every time I drop that on the ground, you know, he's getting a reward. And you might start by maintaining the end of it, but hang on to it until, especially if you're not in an enclosed area. What we've just done here, you can do in the paddock, you can do anywhere. You know, start off slow, start off with, I want you to take a nice step over. Good. He's not looking at me. He's got his shoulder pointed at me. There we go, thank you. You know, I want him to, this is a cue. I mean it. And you can see there, he didn't like that flag a great deal to start with. He's getting desensitised to it as we go. Worst thing I could do with a horse like this is desensitise him first. You know, and as we go along, he'll get more and more desensitised to it. But I want him to be sensitive to what I'm asking of him. Cool. Just work really nice and gentle here. I'm gonna reach down this rope, you know, and don't panic if things get a little out of whip or ugly, or, you know, just follow your horse. If you send him across there, you know, and you overdo it and he pulls on that rope and he's pulling, just follow him, you know, and focus, lift your hand, focus on his bum. And when he yields to that, leave him be, but don't get him dragging you about, don't try and out-muscle him. I don't think anyone silly enough to think you could out-muscle a horse like this guy. He's got a little bit of muscle there, so he's a very nicely put together fella. Good boy. Yeah, and I don't want to drive him mad with this. Probably a good session for his first one. And we'll do some more filming as we go. I want to film right through the groundwork, and I want to film remounting with this fella. Hey, you got your ears popped at me. Let's just work on that back up just for a minute before you go away. Okay, I'm going to ask him. Now, first thing he did, pop his nose out. I'm going to start rocking your head. Rock, 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 rock. There we go. You know, and don't worry about straight. You'll get straight when you get rid of the resistance. So don't try and straighten him up, or just get rid of the resistance and straight will come. There we go, there we go. Ah, you can see how much softer he is already with his head and neck. Okay, I might step backwards at him. See whether I've got his respect a little there. Good. I want that too. When I lead him, I want him to maintain a pace. I want him to stop when I stop, go when I go. Come on. Let's have a little work on that. Put your hind in, get yourself over there, good boy. I'm going to walk you around here. If you don't come up, I might help you a little. Keep up with me. Keep up with me. Lean on that rope. I'll lift this flag. Keep up with me. Keep up with me. Okay. Cool. So I've just taught him there that I can get him to step up a little from here. Don't look at your horse too much. You can look at him, and I expect my horses to do this while I'm looking at them, but just to get started, you know, if I look him in the eye and look like this and pull, it's sort of like saying go away and come back at the same time. That's not fair on the horse. You can be a lot more precise with your body language than that. You know, if I look him in the eye, I want him to stop. If I look at him and walk at him, I want him to go. But if I lower my presence a little and walk at him and look at him, I want him to stay. I want him to let me approach him, you know. He should know the difference. Doesn't mean don't look at him. Be careful how you look at him. Probably what I'm trying to say. Let's get him to move around us. He's not very fit, this guy. He's got a bit of a sweat up. I've done as many miles as he has. That's the way it should be when you start off. That's pretty nice. You know, that was soft. That felt like I was hanging on to a newborn baby's arm. If anyone can picture that, it's just a nice, soft feel where he's not avoiding the feel, but he's not pushing into it. That's the sort of thing I want, and when I ride him I'm going to want that too. So tomorrow we'll start on some steering for this, but he's come a long way in a short time. Thank you.